Usually applying outside the UK is cheaper than can bring family. In study, about 1,220. Tier 5 visa, switch to a Tier 1 visa, travel abroad and return to the UK. Enough money to support yourself. A valid passport, Tier 4 visa, so that's about £945. Arrive in the UK up to 1 week. Tuberculosis test at the hands of greedy agents. Hi everybody, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ambi C. Ezim. So due to popular demand, I have decided to do this video. I published a blog post on my website some 5 months ago. Until now it's been getting so much attention in regards to visas and another topic that I'll be addressing by itself. So this video is specifically about visas in regards to the UK, the Tier 2, Tier 4, Tier 5. That will be my focus for this video. So let's start with the requirements. This will be a summary. If you want detailed information, I am happy to guide you, or you can go to the Home Office website.gov.uk website. I know there's loads and loads of information to take on, so it's difficult to sort of really understand what exactly is required of you at one go. But hopefully this video can kickstart you and guide you into the right places to go. I have seen people fall victims to agents, fraudulent agents, consultants, and paying fees that are not necessary when the information is out there for you. Tier 2, which is one of the most popular visas presently. So there are two that falls under that Tier 2, the Tier 2 General and Tier 2 intra-company transfer. But I would focus, and also under the occupation, shortage occupation, I'll focus on the General, Tier 2 General. Tier 2 General is either your company applies for 3 years visa for you or a 5-year visa. You have to pay for a health surcharge, £400 per year. So per the year of your visa. So if it's 3 years visa, so it's £400 times 3. If it's a 5-year visa, it's £400 times £400, times 5. How you can be eligible to apply is obviously prove that you can speak English by taking the test, the approved test. You should have a certified sponsor. So you have 2 types of sponsors. The sponsor A, I think the sponsor, those holding sponsor license A and those holding sponsor license B. Either or depends on how many years they can sort of file for you. I think that's how it is classed or categorized. And for Tier 2, you can bring family into the UK as your dependent. Obviously, it costs a specific fee. Usually it takes 15 working days if you're applying outside the UK, and you must prove that you're able to support yourself. If your sponsors aren't fully sponsoring you in regards to living costs, feeding costs and maintenance as a whole, you have to prove that you're able to support yourself in that light by showing about £945 in your account. It doesn't have to be a UK account. It can be your, if you're international, it can be your the account that you have in your home country, as long as it's equivalent of £945 for about 90 days. So it's good to have that in place before you apply for your visa. I know so many people have questions about the whole, how can I bring family over, what would it cost me? For the normal Tier 2 visa, if you're applying outside the UK, it's about £610. If you're applying within the UK to extend or switch, maybe from a Tier 1 or Tier 2, or Tier 4, or whatever sort of visa you have, is £704. And if you want to bring family, £610 per person. So £610 for yourself applying within the UK. Outside the UK, if you're within the UK to extend or switch, £704, which also applies to your dependents that you're either bringing to the UK or extending for them while they're in the UK, if that makes sense. Or bringing your family into the UK wherever they are. Basically, that's how much you have to pay for them for their visa application. The same applies to IHS as well. I'll go into details about that, but basically that's a summary of Tier 2 General. So you can do 3 years or to 5 years, depends on what your sponsor decide that okay they want to sponsor you for, how long do you want to sponsor you for. Then there's that certificate of sponsorship that obviously is point based, and you have to prove that you have that from your employers. There's a list of employers that you can find on the website as well, which really helps you and guides you in case you want to apply for a job in the UK. People that you can apply to, if that makes sense. And it's good to find out from your employer what sort of license holder they are. So if you're applying for more than 3 years, so maybe 5, if you're applying outside the UK, it's about 1,220. I think it's the same price as the entrepreneur visa, if I'm right. Extender switch that's within the UK is 1,408. And the same goes for all dependents that will be applying on that your own visa, or applying based off your own visa. Just to point out that usually applying outside the UK is cheaper than applying within the UK by a few hundreds of pounds, but just wanted to point that out. So health surcharge as well, like I mentioned. Then what exactly can you do? I would quickly brush through this, but I would definitely be touching this in detail in another my video. What can you do? You can do a second job. You can work for your sponsor as stated in your course. You can do a second job based on specific circumstances. You can do voluntary work, of course. You can study, as long as it doesn't interfere with your job that you're sponsored for. You can travel abroad and return to the UK. You can bring family over. What can't you do? You can't apply for public funds. You can apply for a second job until you've started working for your sponsor. You can't own more than 10% of your sponsor's shares. So those are the 3 things that you can't do. Yeah. So tier 5 visa. Tier 5 visa is the temporary worker. For those that it may be a transfer student or a transfer worker just for 1 year. You also require a certificate of sponsorship from a certified sponsor for tier 5. So usually on the list on gov.uk, you have the list of sponsors, and they specify what exactly they can sponsor you for. Is it tier 2 or tier 5? Then you've got your sponsor must be approved in that approved exchange scheme, or is a government agency, or is a higher education running that sort of scheme. It can be 1 year as a research student, 1 year as a research worker. How much does it cost? If you're applying outside the UK, it's about £244. If you're applying within the UK, extend or switch, £244. So basically it's the same. The same goes and applies to all dependents that you plan on bringing while on that visa, or family members or whatever that you plan on bringing while on that visa. You can work, you can study, work on the job that it's specified on your certificate of sponsorship. You can do tier 2 base shortage occupation days for up to 20 hours. So those jobs that are listed under the tier 2 shortage occupation list, you can actually work for any of them as long as it's not more than 20 hours, about 20 hours. I think that applies for students as well. You can work but not more than 20 hours per week. You can apply to change or switch to a tier 1 visa if you're in a government authorized sort of exchange or scheme. Then you cannot take on a permanent job or get public funds. Those are the things you can't do. You can't get public funds and you can't get a permanent job. So for your tier 4 visa is the student visa. You need to have an admission from the university, the CAS number. So the university would serve as your sponsor. You can apply from outside the UK. That costs you £348 to apply outside the UK. If you bring independents as well, £348 per person. Just like the tier 2 and tier 2 and tier 1, you also need to prove that you have enough money to support yourself. So that's about £945 usually for 3 that have stayed in your account for about 90 days. Like I said, it can't be either UK state bank statement or a statement from your home country. So you can apply for a tier 4 visa if you've been offered a place. If you're over 60, you can speak and write fluent English, you can speak, read, write and understand English. You have enough money to support yourself and pay for your course. So that's your school fees and whatnot. You're from a country that's not under the EEA, and you meet all the eligible requirements. So the other eligible requirements usually a valid passport. Your course, you can do a full-time course that's at least level 6 on the off-call register, or part-time leading to a qualification that's at least level 7. Like I said, I will go into details for each course. This is just a quick, very quick overview to just get you started if you needed a quick information in regards to what exactly you need to do and where exactly you are to reach your application presently. Make sure that you're applying to university that's recognized, not recognized, but obviously that can give you the information and the things that you require in regards to applying. Make sure you've saved enough to apply as a student in the UK. Like, it's usually point based, so you must ensure that you have enough fund either to be able to pay your fees for the tier 4 visa application. It's a lot to take on for tier 4, so I do not want to squeeze and rush everything through, but I'll definitely go through it again. These are basically things I wanted to touch for the tier 2 visa, tier 4 visa and tier 5 visa. For any other visa, I would definitely make a separate video for your spousal visa and for the shortage occupation, what exactly that means, and go into details concerning that. So when can you arrive in the UK? So you can arrive in the UK up to 1 week before your course is meant to start if you're applying for a 6-month course. But if it's more than 12 months, or more than 6 months, then you can arrive a month before your course is about to start. What can you do and what can't you do? You can study, you can work as a student, union sabbatical officer. You can apply from inside or outside the UK. You can apply to extend your visa. You can work in most jobs. Yeah, you can. You cannot get public funds, work in certain jobs, for example, those requiring professional qualifications to work in. So what sort of thing do you require when applying? Proof that you can support yourself, proof of your parental guardian, that's if you're under 18, proof of your relationship with your parental guardian if you're under 18. Some countries you're required to do this tuberculosis test, as I mentioned on the tier 2 visa. I think for most people applying from outside the UK to come into the UK, usually this tuberculosis test might be a requirement depending on the country you're from. Hopefully I'll touch on that in another video. And yeah, you obviously need a blank page in your passport. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I just decided to do this video in order to give you a kickstart in case you're going through the whole visa application shebang and confusion, and you have questions on how to start, what's required, and just a quick chat. I think it helps to hear somebody speak about it, talk about it, guide you through it. And this is also to avoid you falling victim into the hands of fraudulent consultants, fraudulent agents, fraudulent lawyers. You can't do this yourself. You can apply for visa yourself. All the information you need is on there. So avoid falling victim due to desperation, due to not lack of willingness to search out knowledge yourself, search out guide. Obviously there's good and honest guide and help out there, but I see most people falling into the hands of fraudulent agents, fraudulent consultants, fraudulent help, fraudulent lawyers. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share and comment. Until next time, my name is Ambi C. Ezen.